You are listening to News Talk 790 WPIC, Sharon Hermitage, a Cumulus station sponsored by the Ridgewood at Shenango Valley, a premier senior living residence.
Piecing together the Amtrak crash, more severe weather. I'm Ann Cates. Investigators are still working to determine what caused last week's deadly Amtrak derailment in Philadelphia. 2 trains were hit by projectiles in the same area that night, and the engineer of the Amtrak train thought his locomotive was struck as well. Robert Sumwalt of the National Transportation Safety Board appeared today on CNN's State of the Union.
The SEPTA engineer did report to dispatch that he had been struck by something, but there was nothing at all from the Amtrak engineer to dispatch to say that his train had been struck.
Another storm system is moving through rain-soaked Texas. Meteorologist Tom Sater has details.
There will be some snow on the back edge. In fact, from Bismarck to Winnipeg, maybe 2 to 4 inches. And then from St. Louis, the flooding, I think, could be a concern in parts of Arkansas in toward northern areas of Mississippi and Louisiana and, of course, Texas.
Up to 30 million people may be in the path of severe weather today. More than 30 tornadoes touched down yesterday. I'm Ann Cates. More details are emerging about this weekend's raid in Syria, where American commandos killed a top-level ISIS leader. Correspondent Victor Blackwell reports.
During a firefight, ISIS fighters defended the multi-story building from inside and outside positions. But special forces were able to get close to the building and blow a hole in its side. They went in, encountered ISIS fighters, and there were more gunshots and reports of hand-to-hand combat. The ISIS combatants apparently tried to use human shields, but U.S. troops managed to kill the fighters without hurting the women and children.
Officials have identified all 8 bodies recovered from the crash site of a U.S. Marine helicopter that disappeared while delivering earthquake relief supplies in Nepal. The bodies of the 6 U.S. Marines and 2 Nepalese soldiers have been flown to Kathmandu. The wreckage of the Huey was found on Friday following days of intense searching in the mountains northeast of Kathmandu. The helicopter went missing just on last Tuesday. I'm Ann Cates.
Johnny wants to be a performer. And everybody knows school costs money. Johnny wants to know what he has to do to become a performer. Plus, he needs experience before he decides to spend the money for school. Johnny's confused. He has no one to talk to about his choices. He then hears an ad on the radio about Media8tor Arts Academy, where he can perform, network, train, and find a place to prepare for school. Johnny has found a place to expand his talents to make his decision and also increase his resume. Now, let's explain how Johnny got signed up. He went online to Media8inc.com and clicked on register. They called him back, asked him what his vision was, then found a place for him to perform. Whether it's theater, music, or movies, as long as Johnny is willing, Media8inc.com is able. And that's the story of how Johnny became a performer through Media8 Arts Academy.
Scientists say one of the last remaining sections of an important Antarctic ice shelf is expected to be gone by the end of the decade. Correspondent Bill Michaels has more.
Ice shelves are extensions of glaciers and function as barriers. The disappearance means the potential acceleration of glaciers melting, increasing the pace of rising sea levels around the globe. NASA says the once prominent Larsens B ice shelf in Antarctica is rapidly disappearing. A team at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, reports the ice shelf is flowing faster and becoming more fragmented. The flow creating large cracks in the ice shelf. Rising temperatures, especially in summer months in that part of the world, getting the blame. The Larsen B ice shelf has existed for at least 10,000 years. It measured about 4,500 square miles in January 1995. Now it's down to about 618 square miles. I'm Bill Michaels.
And I'm Ann Cates.
Have you ever thought about publishing a book, but just didn't know how to do it? Well, at Media8, we try to make publishing simple. You ask questions, we give you answers. You want a book? We find the right option for you to publish. When you need advice about getting your methods out to the world, Media8 is the place to call. Register today at Media8inc.com, where we make ideas seem simple.
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. It was a nightmare.
Flight 807, Have no fear, fellow citizens. The mediator is here.
All doctors to the ER. All nurses to the nurses station. Code blue 305. Shots fired. Shots fired. Officer down. I repeat, officer down. 911. What's your emergency? Backup is en route.
Evacuations continue tonight in Maribel.
Apartments. You can see this evacuation notice on one door.
Rolling. Motion. Roll sound. And action.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ohioans, Americans, welcome to the Mediator with Brian West.
Hello.
Listen up.
And Alicia
Are you
Sparks.
ages?
Hey.
We are ready to go. We're fired up. We got my friend Carla on the line. Carla, you there?
Welcome.
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. I'm playing with the board here. This is my Joe gave me the controls for a little bit. We're going to talk about relationships and some websites you got there, Carla. You got blessedsingles.com. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh yeah. And we're gonna talk to you about the intertwine, the ability for people to love each other. Now, we gonna keep it basic today, Carla. We're gonna talk about the exciting feeling that a man gets when he sees a beautiful girl and he wants to bless her with all of his splendid royalty and his assets, and then get married and have a family, and then hopefully he
In that order. That's how that goes. It's like you have that all mapped out in your brain right now.
I mean, I get the feeling that's what. I mean, Carla, you see a girl and you want to bless her, and you want to be with her, and then all of a sudden you get on one knee, you submit your love to her, and then that's when it all happens.
Brian, you know what? That's the ideal. I wish all men could be more like you. I think that's more you. I think we're talking about BrianLove.com.
BrianLove.com.
Brian Love, huh? Oh, okay. So tell us now, Carla, you got this website. Tell us a little bit about blessedsingles.com.
Well, as you know, more and more people are heading online to seek out that perfect person, and so we developed the website for that. And I think more and more people are going online because, first of all, more people are comfortable with being online. They're online anyway.
Right.
It's kind of replacing going out. Everybody used to go out. People still go out a little bit, but now people jump online. You don't actually have to go out to the club to meet somebody. You can actually meet somebody online.
Right.
But, there's still pros and cons with online dating, that people need to watch out for. And we've tried to put some functionality in our website to make it safer for people to date online and actually make it more effective.
Yeah. Now, your website is a little bit different from the others. I did my research before the show. Your website acts, it's almost like you're trying to make sure people have the same, like equally yoked. That's what it seems like.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you know what people do? One of the things that we really try to do is you can jump on a dating website and look through pictures, and you still kind of like you don't know what's happening. You don't know how to pick somebody. I mean, It's really still, a really tough game to really find that perfect person online. But what we try to do is make it a little easier, and not just by matching people, but you know what people don't do? They don't get to know themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And what they're really, really looking for, short term and long term. So we've incorporated a lot of quizzes per se, a lot of
to make sure
analysis. Right,
compatible.
A way for you to get to know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there's been points in my life where I thought I knew what I wanted in a partner, but I really didn't know what my expectations were.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things we have in place. And then also we have, of course, a list of preferences that you can pick that, you do know what you're looking for somewhat. And you know what I mean?
Right.
So we try to look to you for that. I mean, I can tell you, I've been on dating websites where I promise you I clicked that button that says I want this preference, and it didn't make any difference. I still got like 5,000 responses or whatever. So we try to really listen to people and also help people get to know themselves, get to know what they want. It just leads to fulfillment, and it keeps people from wasting their time online as well as offline.
That's really, really, I'm sorry, Brian. I think that's really cool because, with the way social media is set up, it's easy to go and find a person and look through their profiles and say, okay, this is what you do on a daily. This is what you look like. This is who you hang out with. But like you said, to go the extra step and to go the extra mile to make sure that one knows their own self and what they want within themselves, that is what kind of sets it aside and makes it a lot easier and makes it more comfortable for a person to approach a site such as yours and find someone, because now they know what they're looking for.
What's up with the questions?
Right. I mean, we hope so.
What's up with the questions? So, like, give me like an idea on some of the questions you asked on the website
for them to know themselves.
We have one of our quizzes is called Reveal Your Lifestyle. And what it does, it's a list of questions, and it kind of brings out your hidden, the way you operate, what you really need. Like, for instance, here's one of the questions on our quiz. It says, I didn't know that I was in love until I actually was for a long time.
Wow.
That's neat.
That's true.
That is unique.
That can happen.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how many times you've been in a relationship, you really didn't know how deep your feelings went. Some people are like that. Some people know right off top.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I can identify with that. I definitely can.
Here's another question. I like to wear the same matching clothes as my partner.
Wow, that's amazing.
When we go places, right?
To look like a unit,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think love? Me and Sparks get in conversations like this. So you don't think love just happens? You think sometimes it's meant for people to get hooked up, Carla?
You know what? I'm a romantic, so I do believe in kismet. I do believe in seeing that person across the room, and there's something there. But unfortunately, especially in this day and age, you actually need more than that.
Right.
Oh, wow.
You need relationship skills.
Yep.
Yeah.
You need communication skills. You need to have things in common. You need to have, common purposes, common goals. I mean, you don't need to be the same person, but you got to connect on some level that will take you through the rough spots.
Okay, so here's my question for you. What was your motivation behind creating the site and wanting to see people connected and be in relationships? What was your motivation behind that?
You know what? That's a really great question, and the answer is real simple. I went on a couple of dating websites and got frustrated myself because I really didn't feel like, it
was catered to you.
I felt like I was just thrown into this. Right. I felt like I logged on, I gave all my information up, and then I was just thrown into this pool of all the, and now it's my job to kind of sift through all these people
and figure out what
I was inundated with all these different messages and things like that. One of the things we have on Blessed Singles is that you can choose to communicate as much or as little as you want. You can turn these settings off and on. That way you're not getting, I was opening up my email in the morning and I had like 100, I mean, I'm trying to find one person.
You must have been the hot girl.
Oh, Carla is the hot girl.
They were coming for you.
Carla is the hot girl.
They were coming for Carla. 100 emails in the morning?
Carla got a glow to her. You'll see her and she will make you go into the studio and build a booth for her.
See? Look at that. They were coming for Carla.
But I guess it was just, to answer your question, it was just born out of my own experience and a lot of my friends and my cousins and family members, and the other thing is that Blessed Singles is not just a youth-orientated dating site. It's for all ages. And,
that's awesome.
My mom was looking for someone, my aunt. So I wanted to make something that went across someone, my aunt, for
so you think it's easy to use? I was on there. It is pretty simple. You go in, some of them you go in, you got to have a login. Like, you got to have a login. Some of them charge a fee. Yours doesn't charge a fee, though. Is that, how do you manage that one off?
No. Well, we have, I would say 90% of our site is free. Oh, wow. You can choose to upgrade to different things. Most people use the site for a long time and never upgrade, so you don't have to upgrade.
You don't have to.
But it is a free site. It is a faith-based site. You can join. All your information is protected. I'm really, really big on that.
Nice.
You do have to have a username, a login information to log in, and that just protects your information and, gives you the control that you need, But the other thing that we've added on here is we have kind of like a e-zyme type component to our website where we write a lot of articles that help people.
Yeah,
nice.
You know, the latest. You know, so right.
I seen that.
Not just.
I seen that on there, Carla. You got this. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were done, but you got this on there. It's like e-cards, and I like the design you got up there. You got the Cupid up there. You got it's ways for people to fall in love. It's kind of unique in a sense, and I like.
So by it being unique, let me ask you this: what is it exactly about your site that makes it so different from other websites? Like what I know it's Blessed Singles. So what exactly? What makes it so different? What is it?
Well, like I said, I think a couple things make it different in the fact that we're not just giving you a pool of people to look through. We're focused on you not just matching you up with other people based on criteria, but also you getting to know yourself, you getting to know your partner. You can actually conduct your relationship online. The other thing that we've added that is kind of unique is we have where you can create local singles clubs online. And invite people online. Right.
Do you have like group chats?
If there's not one in your area, huh?
Do you offer like group chats also within that group?
We don't offer group chats online, but what we do offer is you can manage your singles club in your area online. You can invite local people through email.
Oh, that's nice.
Messages.
That is sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Yeah, I
know. This is the thing about dating online. You know, you don't want to stay online. You want to get offline. That's the whole point, right?
Right.
So one of the ways is to create, if you don't have a singles club in your area, jump on Blessed Singles, create your little Cupid club online, and then you can start having different functions and things where you can send out invitations and do
really
things
cool.
like that. And so that way, you know what I'm saying? You ever go to a website and you look through things, and when you log off, that's it. Then you're on your own. Well, we try to help you get back offline.
Right. So. That's really, really cool.
So tell us the process, Carla. You go onto the site, and then you create. Give us like a real quick like an idea of how the process goes. You go in, and you said that you saw. I know on some of the sites you could spend like maybe 30 minutes just creating the account. So is yours a little bit unique in that sense?
It is, because we have an option. You go on the site, and then you can. There's several different buttons that say join free. You can join free. And you can either decide, we do have a questionnaire that you fill out, but if you just want to join real quick and then jump online and get started, you can do that and say, okay, I'll fill the questionnaire out later.
Okay.
The questionnaire is important because we need information from you to help you.
Find what
help us help you kind of thing.
Right.
But if you don't have the time, I'll never forget, and I won't mention any names, but I'll never forget, I attempted to join one of the leading dating websites, and I swear to you, I was on that site for like an hour trying to sign up, and I had to go back and finish later on. I mean, that's how lengthy it is.
Oh,
so, no, you have the option to do the quick sign up. However, if you do have the time, we do encourage people, join when you have the time. Go ahead and fill out the questionnaire. That is important because it helps us find out where you're at and what you're looking for.
Nice. Now, another question that I have for you. Do you see the site making a difference? Do you see people getting married or functions happening more often? Like, what's the turnover? What are you seeing coming from your site?
Well, one of the things that we're seeing is that people are really finding it helpful in terms of, finding that particular person. We're not tracking marriages right now.
Okay.
We're just trying to connect people. We're trying to bring the online to the offline. So I'm finding that to be very encouraging. And people also, I'm getting a lot of positive feedback about their experience while they're online, which is important.
That's awesome.
So, Right. I'm not really, it's great. I wish everybody that joined the site could find, happiness. But my whole goal here with this site is it's not a numbers game. I just want people to really, if it could help people become more empowered in their love life, more effective, bring more people together, then I would be very, very happy with that.
And I think it's it's very nice because it's a safe way of knowing, okay, this person did a questionnaire just like I did. And we have been brought together through this site, and I can trust you. I can trust the site. I can trust what's going on, and I can get to know you versus just randomly meeting you through social media or online and not knowing anything about you, and then we get ready to connect offline and you're a crazy person.
Yeah, because now online media, we're talking about crazies.
Not so much.
Yeah, talking about crazies, Carla. Online media has had a problem with that. Like they say, most of the protests that you see start usually online, where everybody's social gathering. So talk a little bit about some of the security measures that you do have within the blessedsingles.com.
Well, we have a dating guide online that kind of helps you get the do's and don'ts for dating online, even on our site. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Divulging information too soon, randomly picking people. This is definitely not a pickup site. So, and you put yourself at risk when you conduct yourself like that online. For some reason, people feel real anonymous when they're online, but you are really exposed when you're online, and people tend to be less careful online for some reason than they are when they're in person.
Right.
So, just like you would have to be guarded anywhere else, we advise you to do that online. That's why, for instance, one of the things that we have is you can send winks and emails and text messages to somebody you might be interested in. And that's only if they've allowed that. You can have there's a setting on there that says, I don't want to get any of this stuff. I don't want to get any text messages. I don't want to get any of that. But if you allow that to come through, the other people that are interested in you or reaching out to you, they can do that, and they don't know, they have no idea what your phone number is, no idea what your email is. It all goes through the site, and then it goes to you.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's really
an
nice.
Example.
So you mentioned winks. Are winks like pokes, like how pokes are on Facebook? Is that what a wink
exactly.
is?
Like
that's
we
cute.
call winks on our site.
That's cute. That's cute.
So, but the nice thing is that you can wink at somebody if they allow them, if they have that setting where they can receive the wink.
Right.
But you do not know what their number is. So
that's really nice.
Good.
That's good.
Now tell us, we talked about the site and things like that. Now let's talk about, I looked at some stats, and they say that the divorce rate in this country is actually going down, that people are starting to mingle a little bit. I actually talked to one friend of mine. He was telling me about how he needed a girl. He wanted to find a girl so bad, and I didn't, it's sad, Carla. I feel so bad I didn't mention blessedsingles.com.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you? He was reaching. He was reaching, and you had the answer.
Let me tell you about me and Carla's relationship as business partners.
Right.
Carla, it's like me and Carla have like this cursed relationship to where she has all these things to offer. Like she has the B Cards app. She has Blessed Singles. So I try to log into the B Cards app, and it wouldn't let me get her B Cards app.
Because it doesn't like you.
No. You tried to log into the App Store.
Yeah.
And you couldn't log into the App Store.
So you couldn't even get into the App Store to get to the app.
Yeah, and me and Carla gets into it because she wants me to tell people. And then I get in this conversation with my buddy, and I'm like, where can I send him?
OMG.
That's what I'm saying, Carla. We gotta.
Now you owe him. You gotta go back and get him together. You gotta get him on blessedsingles.com.
I am.
You have to do it.
And I feel I'm like, oh man, Carla that was the opportunity.
Yeah.
And Carla's like always in my ear, man.
And you dropped the ball.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
But this brings up a really good point. I was saying this to somebody the other day. Back in the day, people used to make it their personal mission.
Yes.
If they had a single friend, people would introduce people.
Yep.
Do you remember that back in the day when people used to fix people up? People don't do that so much anymore.
Because they're selfish. They're selfish.
They
don't care about their own happiness now.
So I'm good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You watch my happiness from over there and be miserable. That's how it is now. It's so sad.
Thank you for saying that,
it's so sad.
So on point.
It's so bad, Carla, that you could, like, I was watching some of these movies, and then a guy will like a girl. Like, you ever see something about Mary? Remember that movie?
That is hilarious.
And,
that was hilarious.
Everybody's, and
they're all trying to get to Mary, and Mary already has her somewhat mind made up on where she wants to go.
Yeah.
But she's nice to all of them. She's
something
like,
about Carla.
It must be. It must be. She's getting 100 emails a day. Come on.
Well, see, Carla's...
No, right. That's hey, look. That's what I'm saying. No. So that's why I'm on the dating side. But
yes.
People we're stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
We're busy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time. We're not supporting each other. There used to be, back in the day, if you even had a family member that was single, everybody used to make it their first.
Yep. You know, my uncle over here.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
yeah.
my Uncle Ray over here. I think you would really like him a whole lot. But I like this so much better because you can really, really go into a person's profile, see who they are, you know, and like I said, once again, it's a trusted site and it's blessed.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You can't help but to go to it and get blessed. I like it.
Exactly, because you know what? When you find a great partner, that's a blessing in
it
and of
really
itself.
is. That changes your whole life.
It does, doesn't it?
Changes your whole life.
So now we're talking about that. This is a new environment. There is a new age where men don't have a lot of respect for the females. You know, females are doing a lot of things, and you get these. I get this one relationship, these questions about trust, where sometimes men don't trust their women going and doing things. So I mean, how do you're like the specialist, Carla. Every time I have a relationship question,
you're going to Carla.
I talk to because Carla, she'll simplify it for you. She'll say things like, "Brian, well, the stars were not right that night." So
that was not the night.
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
You got to try again the next day and maybe
in a different approach.
Yeah, in a different approach. Don't smack the girl on the thighs and expect to have an intimate relationship with her. You have to open up the door for her.
Unless she's aggressive, she might like it.
You know what? I wish I had all the answers. I really do. You know, I'm guessing right along with everybody else. You know, but you know what? One of the things I see, and I could be wrong about this, but you know what? The other thing that's, I think, impacted people and people are having such a hard time getting together is because we're confused about our roles.
Right.
And it's really interesting because men, and I'm not getting on you guys, but men seem to hold on to the traditional roles, whereas women are
want to break those barriers.
Yeah, women are progressing and freeing. I mean, and actually, I'm going to say this. I'm getting on the women now. I don't think they're progressing fast enough. I think women are still in this mode where they think that, okay, I'm a woman. I'm supposed to be pursued. You know,
which is fine. That's fine. But in this day and age, and like you said, in this day and age, the way things are moving and progressing and the way that social media and online is, if you don't go for what you want and if you see it and if it's there, you're going to miss it. And then the next woman next to you who is, you know, confident in herself, she's going to go and get it. She's going to go get that guy, regardless of if he is submissive or aggressive.
Is it okay?
You know what?
Oh, go ahead.
You don't have to be, you know, a lot of women are still uncomfortable with the role they think of themselves. If they do anything to pursue their own happiness, they're being aggressive.
Right.
You don't have to be aggressive. You can just be friendly.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
You can be nice.
Yes.
You know? You don't have to be, you know what I'm saying?
It's all in your approach.
So you don't think they're like you had the guy, I think it was what's his name, the Hawking guy, that real smart guy who just passed away. He said all these men are trying to figure out women. You don't think some men think that, like, you come out with the book Mars is men are from Mars and women are from Venus and stuff, and so you don't think there is any craziness inside the woman's imagination. You know,
of course it is.
Are women crazy?
Yeah, and so are men. We all are. We're human beings. That's just part of life. But some people like to mask it and act as if they're not, and they know they are. They know they are. You're crazy. We're all crazy. It's just levels. There's levels.
I'm sitting there.
Levels of it.
Carla just tells me. She says, "Brian, I am crazy."
I promise you, and I admire anybody that would even attempt that. But you know what? I think it is getting back to that we were talking about before. I think men are kind of confused as to what to do. I think sometimes they overcompensate. I think, you know, I myself, and I'd be interested to see what you think about this. I see kind of a resurgence of chauvinism coming back.
See that? Yeah, she tells me. She calls me her little Superman. She always calls me a chauvinist. And
I mean, when you meet somebody and you start dating somebody, and the first question you ask me is, "What do I cook good?" Really? Like, really?
I mean, what's wrong with? I mean, Carla, let's simplify this.
He just wants to make sure that what he's getting into is what he wants to get into.
You know what?
He's like, you know what? So since we're on date number 2, how about date number 3? We're going to go and we're going to stay in and you cook for me. And by the way, what is your best dish that you cook?
Yeah, because now
there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a woman that likes to cook, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you know what? I just find that I think men are kind of confused with everything that's going on in society and how liberated and empowered women are. I think men are kind of falling back, like they really don't know. Well, wait a minute, if she doesn't need me on this level, or she doesn't do this, what exactly are we supposed to do?
So you think that's why men like abuse women and stuff like that, because they want to maintain that control structure? I mean, you talk about chauvinists. Like, could you imagine a woman sitting there and the man is like, okay, listen, I want this house clean, and if this house is not clean when I get back, there's going to be some repercussions. And then the woman is looking at him like...
But there are some women that like that. There are some women that like that. They don't mind it.
Thank you.
There are some women who are completely okay with, oh, well, I'm underneath his thumb. This is what my husband likes, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what makes him happy, so that's what we're going to do. There are some women that are like that. They really are, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Some women that are like that.
Well, we're at the top. Oh, go ahead. I got to give the tag real quick. You're listening to The Media with Brian West and Alicia Sparks.
Hey.
We are at half point now. We were talking to Carla Clark. She was talking about her website, blessedsingles.com. We are getting into the conversation of men and women and relationships in this new environment. Carla has blessed us with her presence. If you want to donate to the program, you can donate at Media8tor.com. That's Media8, the number 8, inc.com. Sparks is in the studios with us today.
Hey.
And we have our lovely guest. Now go finish what you were saying, Carla. I'm sorry about that. I had to give a tagline.
Oh, I was just agreeing with Alicia. I was saying that, you know what, I kind of take the hard line, and I don't want to seem unsympathetic, but if you are in an abusive relationship, that's a choice that both of those people are making. It's not easy. And whether it's physical or emotional.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you feel, if there's something lacking, if there's a void in yourself where you feel like you have to tolerate abuse, I don't care if it's physical or emotional, you know what I mean, for your well-being, then that's a whole separate issue.
Now, let's get into this, Carla, because when you're talking about this, now, when you say chauvinists, now, from what my research on chauvinists is they were like men who did good deeds, and they often considered themselves superior in a sense. Now, you don't think, okay, now, in this new environment, you have an emotional barrier where there's like some men who are very, very educated, some men who are very, very powerful. And then you may have a Cinderella story where the female may not have a lot, but she still is. So where do you think there's the confusion in this? I just want to know why you say the word chauvinist in the sense for a female.
Well, I will be real honest with you. I probably am guilty of it myself in the fact that I'm kind of a hypocrite, like I think a lot of women are. Honestly, I will be even though I tease you about being a chauvinist, and I made that comment, I think that a lot of men look to women for certain roles, which kind of mystifies me in this day and age. But I'm that female on the flip side that says, okay, respect what I can do, respect my mind. Don't ask me to do the laundry, don't ask me to cook. But then I do expect, I'm a hyprypcrite. I'm a traditional woman. When we go out, I do expect the man to pay most of the time. I don't mind pitching in, but I will raise my hand on that. So I think that illustrates that we're all a little confused with our roles. Women are empowered. We want to be respected. We want to be equals. But then we do fall back on those traditional roles when it suits us.
And I think at the same time, I can't really speak for anybody else. I could speak for myself, but I know that some men they need that. For instance, within myself, I find myself to be very assertive, very powerful, and very strong within knowing who I am. But at the same time, I know how to fall back and let the man be the man. Let the man open the door. Let the man, decide, okay, tonight we're going to do a movie and a dinner, or tonight we're going to stay in. You have to know, you have to pick and choose your battles. You hear him, right? You have to pick and choose your battles in order to know exactly what the strength is in your relationship. It is a pull, it is a push, it is a give. And it can't always be that way. And taking a step back to what you were saying as far as the abuse, I too am a person who has experienced physical and emotional abuse. And, you know, I don't want that in my life. I don't want someone who's going to make me feel, you know, less of a person in my relationship. But at the same time, I need you to be assertive. I need you to be aggressive, because if you don't put me in my place, then I'm going to run wild.
And I like Sparks so much. You have to meet her, Carla. She is so sweet. Sometimes she's like this little lovely little girl you see, and she's like
in this tiny little package.
I can imagine. And you know, you ever watch some of those movies like what is it, Tina Turner, the one movie? I can see Sparks just getting straight evil with a man. Like, don't you hit
put
me
you in your place
again? I've been sweet. I've been cleaning. I've been doing all this for you, and this is what you do to me.
This is what you do.
Just forget about it.
What? Let me speak to something she said, and I think you're right. You know what? I think all of us, even though, you know, I take a hard line on accountability when you're in an abusive relationship. Just like you said, most of us have found ourselves in a relationship, even if you don't condone it, even if you don't choose it,
it happens.
You may look up and realize, this
I'm here.
relationship is not healthy for
me.
This is happening, but and so you kind of go into a shock.
Yes.
You know, you don't really want to make any sudden moves. You're not sure. Maybe the person isn't that bad. Maybe things will get better. You know, I think that the real thing is that it's over, you know, if you stay in an abusive, all of us think
you don't even realize, honestly, for me, I didn't even realize it until after I stepped out of it. Once I stepped out of the eye of the tornado, that's when I started to realize all the chaos that was going on around. And I'm like, whoa, this how is that normal? How is this how is this okay? Who functions like this? So, you know, it's all about what you're willing to take within yourself. And knowing your self-worth, knowing what you want, once again, coming back to the questions on the site, knowing exactly who it is that you are before you get ready to go and look and send for the next person.
So do you think people, like I was talking to some guys at the gym, and they were saying, I asked them, you know, these are veterans, strong-minded guys, and I say, wow, man, you don't have a girlfriend? And they always say, no, women like evil men. So what do you think about that, Carla?
Well, I think that sometimes men can get, you know, just like women do, you know, you can get your heart broken, you're disappointed. So you fall back on some easy answers when actually you got to look and see what's going on. I don't think that, you know, people always say women fall for the bad boys, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, opposites attract kind of stuff.
But you know what? On the flip side of that, you know, you have to, a lot of times when you're in a relationship, it may look like you're the victim and you're actually not.
You know, this is a big thing, Carla, because I just thought about this. They got all this stuff going on about racism. Let's get back to the relationship debate. You know what I'm saying? Some people are fighting for love out there, and they can't get it, Carla. We want some genuine love.
And you know why? Because everything is so surface right now. Everyone is so surface. Nobody wants to penetrate to get in and really know like the beauty and the joy of love. And everyone is so guarded and so scared because they're afraid that if I do show her love, what is going to happen? Am I going to get my heart broken?
Well, you know what?
Am I going to have to pay for the next person's mistakes? Like, how exactly is this going to go?
You know what? This goes back to the downfall. One of the downfalls that you can get into on some dating sites, and just in general in society now, there's a revolving door on people's life. People are not sticking it out.
Oh,
involved. You know, they're getting involved. They're going too fast, too quick. They're breaking up too quick, and they're on to the next person. And we don't realize how much stress over time, cumulatively.
I'm going to give my testimony. I feel a testimony coming on. All right,
go ahead, preach. Go ahead, preach.
Check this out,
It's Sunday. I'm ready.
Okay.
I want the word.
Before I got my little divorce, I was in. All right, this girl said women will say some stuff that will rip your heart out, right?
So will men.
And this is just how, but I was raised strong-minded, you know.
And I want to go back to that. Brian, when we were talking about perfect. Go ahead.
All right, so we were sitting down one night, and I never forget it. Her cousins was over at the house one day, and I told her, I say, listen, you got to sit down because you being bad. So this woman gets up. This is my ex-wife at the time. She says something to me. So, Carla, this is how it happens. Most men don't have the same mentality again. So I say, you know, I'm going for a walk. This is what I was taught to do. Go for a walk. Don't get into no altercation. Just don't let it happen. So I went to the store, and I seen this girl. that I knew from a while back, and she had on this outfit. I say, oh my God, I could be blessed tonight.
I could be blessed.
I could be blessed.
I could be blessed.
I could be blessed.
I want to bless her. That's what you were thinking. I want to bless her.
That's what happens, though. It's like your wife just made you feel like a complete idiot.
Yep.
You feel worthless. Yep. And I'm like, I could feel good.
Yeah.
I want to feel good.
Temporarily.
So,
Temporarily.
But I gave it up. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna go out like that. And I went back, and this girl still want to fight. Wow. She want to get in. So tell us about. I mean, what's that about? I'll let you go back to your point, Carla. I just had to give my testimony because.
No, I mean, I think you brought up another really good point. One of the reasons that relationships have so many problems now. You know what? People don't know how to have disagreements. They only know how to be together when they're getting along.
Right.
You know, isn't the key? It's so easy. It's so easy to be nice and compromising and supportive when everything's good.
Right.
How do you treat someone when they disagree with you?
Yeah.
That's real.
That's the real question. Mm-hmm. And you know what? One of the things I know a lot of men are taught or feel is right is they feel just like what you're saying. Okay, I don't want to hit anybody. I don't want to have a physical confrontation. Mm-hmm. I don't want this to get out of hand, so I'll leave.
Right.
But what they don't realize, it makes women feel abandoned.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
By the time you come back, when you cool down and you come back, guess
she's
what?
even hotter.
Sally's still revving.
Yep. She's even hotter.
That's such a gentle name.
You want to leave somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so sad.
So
That's true.
Right. And so this is what we have to do. We have to communicate. We have to, you have to. How do you treat someone with the same respect? That same person that you claim that you care about, you treat them with the same respect when you're having disagreement as when you're getting along.
Right.
And can you make it past the disagreement? What do you do? You know what I mean?
No, that makes logical sense, Carla. But people don't want to live by the rules. What do you think about these people who just choose to stay out of the bonding between the man and the woman and go out and just do whatever they want to do? And they just
wild and reckless.
Yeah, just wild and reckless. I mean,
I think it's the chase. I think it's the chase. I think a lot of times both, and it's not just men. It's both men and women. They get excited. Yes. They like to go and see if they can get this person. Say, for instance, Sally or what? Not Sally, because Sally was at home.
Yeah, Sally was at home.
No, we're talking about the girl that was out when you left the house. Janet. Okay, Miss Janet. We see Janet. And you're like, you know what? Sally is at home, and she has completely just lost her mind. Let me go see what Janet is about over here.
Let me bless Janet.
And sometimes I don't even think it's about the blessing. I think it's just a personal ego. Like, I wonder if I could get her. I wonder if I could get him. And then they get them, and then they keep it moving.
Well, you know what? It goes back to that comment I made about the revolving door that we have on our lives. We think we take the easy way out. You know what ends up happening?
What?
It ends up wearing us down. Like you said, men and women both do that. Mm-hmm. And it's the easy way out. It's a temporary fix. The only problem is that over a long period of time, you can wear yourself out physically, sexually, and emotionally.
And then what do you have? Then what do you have to give to the person that you run into that has substance, that has qualities that you're looking for, and you're all worn down and wore out? I mean, what you're going to miss you're going to miss your blessing because you're worn down, wore out, and you've been over here with Sally, Jim, Jack, Jill, Janet, everybody else, and you don't even have anything else to give. That's why you got to stay prayed up and blessed up. You got to work that.
Right. So now, so you have a question to ask yourself. When you have picked somebody that you're actually building a relationship with, you can get into a fight with that person. You can have that temporary fix, go out, get that rush of finding somebody new, or you can say, listen, there's a reason why I picked this person.
Yes.
It doesn't always work out, but you can say, okay, I'm going to go back and try to communicate with that person and see if I can resolve the problem and continue my relationship.
Yes.
So when do you think you decide to break it? Like, I came up when I decided that I was not going to take it anymore. I just said, you know what, this is it. I'm not going to say how it happened because I don't want to put her business out on the street, but it was a time when I just said, you know what, I am tired, and I don't think this is. There's a nicer life out there. So if that's a word, out there somewhere. This is just not going to happen. So when do you get like Sparks? It just comes
to a point, where I don't know. For me personally, I'm the type of person, if I'm going to be in a relationship, whether it's recreational or whether we're working towards something that's more permanent, at some point in time, I have to say to myself, okay, while I'm in this relationship with you, I'm going to put your feelings ahead of mine. I'm going to put my desires and wills for you and the betterment of you ahead of mine.
Yeah.
And when this person continuously either lets you down, disrespects you, or is not a partner within your partnership, there has to come a point in time where you say, okay, when am I going to put myself first?
Yeah.
I can't allow to continue to allow myself to keep getting hurt. You can't blame the other person because they only know how to be themselves. You can only step up and say, hey, person, either A, you're going to fix this, or B, I have to fall back because you're not for me. It's about yourself.
Oh, wow.
It's not really about the next person.
She is. I want to just hug her. You can tell she's scared.
You can touch me. We can touch hands.
Bless you,
love.
Sparks.
Okay.
Bless you.
That was a hug across the table.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
I embrace it.
I love you, Sparks.
I love you, too.
I love you.
Okay.
That is so powerful because what she just said was basically what you're saying. It's a partnership.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you know, at some point, you know what, actually, the real answer is different for every person in every relationship. But what you're saying is that if it takes two people to have a partnership, and if you are continually not doing if I'm putting you first and you are putting the relationship first, you're not. That's very powerful, and that's really a great answer because that answer can go for everybody.
Yes,
you know,
all the way across the board. No matter who you date, no matter what you date, you know, it's really about the relationship, the bond, and like I said before, the push and the pull, the give and the take. And if it's not all within moderation, somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. Somebody's going to feel neglected. There's going to be anger. There's going to be pain.
That's so powerful.
And if you're not paying attention to what your partner is about, then either A, you don't even need to be together, or B, you need to step to the side and say, okay, I need to do a self-check on me, and I need to get me together before I can come back to you and get us together.
You know what I hate? You talking about all that stuff. Okay. You know what I hate? Let's talk about this. Okay. What? I got this thing. I like Oprah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I like her, but I like her style.
Yeah.
You know? She seems to have a lot of queensmanship.
She's very smart.
So I'm sitting there with some of my colleagues, you know, my comrades, and I'm expressing to them, I'm explaining to them about the feeling that I get of inspiration, and I want other women to be like, and then they get all upset, you know, well, you all about you want a rich girl. I'm like, no, she just seems to have a lot of queensmanship, you know, so so then I go out I went on a date one time with this girl, we in the theater, and she just start screaming at the film, telling us she loved Vin Diesel, you know. So I get upset. I'm like, wait a minute now. I'm sitting here, I'm spending my money at this film.
And I'm not Vin Diesel.
And I'm not Vin Diesel. I can't.
No, I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? I can't jump from cars.
That's not cool.
But
is he real? No.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Carla? Like, if like, okay, people may like Sparks' voice on the radio, so they may think they want to bless her, but Sparks don't want to bless these men.
No, I don't. I'm not going to bless anybody, not today.
So tell us what you think about. I'm sorry, just the idlemanship that people go through where they get upset. Like, people actually get in arguments about this. Like, I saw you looking at Reverend Jenkins in the store.
I sure was, because he looked nice today, but I'm with you. Hello.
And then they get upset. Like, no, you supposed to. I'm your man. I'm paying the bills around here.
Well, guess what? I'll walk around with my eyes closed and you hold my hand everywhere. Let's just do that. Let's do that.
I know. Well, you know what? My last relationship, one of our major problems was his jealousy. And I think jealousy can be a really bad culprit in a relationship. I think it destroys a lot of relationships. But I think that what you were describing, though, is legitimate. I mean, it just speaks to, you know, being with the person, you know, being with who you are with, you know, living in the moment, making the person you're with feel good. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all see attractive people on TV or in our travels or whatever. You don't need to go off and point it out every time.
Right. See, and I'm the kind of girl where, you know, and once again, anybody that I'm dating, I'm very comfortable with them. You know, I like to have a good time. I'm a party in a little body, okay? I like to have a good time. So, I'm the girl that's like, okay, me and my guy, we might be going on a date and holding hands and walking in the street, and Big Booty Judy might walk by,
Lord,
and she's got the bubble, and I say, oh my God, look at her butt. Do you see her butt? Her butt is huge. Like, I'm that girl, and then we'll laugh about it and keep it moving. Like, I'm confident within myself enough to know that what I bring to the table, you love. That's why we're together. But we're definitely going to look at Big Booty Judy's booty go across the street, because I'm like, whoa.
Now, what is up with that, Carla? You the specialist.
Well, you know what I was going to say is that, that's true. There's nothing wrong. Now, we all have to, you have to come from a healthy point to have a healthy relationship. Just like she's saying, you know what? I have confidence in me. There are beautiful women, beautiful men all over the world. I'm not going to trip if you notice somebody, but it's how you make me feel. Are you disrespecting me? Are you doing it in such a manner that, you know what I mean?
You make me feel bad about myself.
Exactly. But then on the other side, we have to stop. A lot of people see their partners as their own personal possession.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? And that's where jealousy, my ex-boyfriend accused me of, he thought that the people that I work with liked me. He thought that his sister's dude liked me. It just went on and on. Everybody. And so that's when jealousy runs rampant.
Right.
So that's when you know. And a lot of people think that jealousy is a compliment. It's actually not.
No.
Because what that person is doing, they're seeing you as a possession. And that's what we need to stop doing. That's where jealousy gets out of hand.
Quick tagline real quick. You're listening to The Media with Brian West and Alicia Sparks. We have our lovely guest on the show, Carla Clark. She's talking about blessedsingles.com. If you want to donate to the program, which we use for our research and to do other things out in the project of entertainment and art, you can donate at Method 8. Go ahead, Sparks.
Method 8.
INC.com.
And that is the number 8, not the word.
Yeah. And we're having a conversation with Carla Clark, and we're talking about just the relationships, and she's got a website called blessedsingles.com where you can go with and hook up with some people if you like them. If you don't, then leave them alone. So let's talk a little bit about this is another one, Carla. Now, when we got 10 minutes left in the show before I give you the platform and tell people where they can support you and some other things you're doing. So what happens when the friends get involved, with the voices of the friends start getting involved with the marriages and the relationships?
Issues,
yeah, how do you combat that?
You mean in terms of advice? Unsolicited advice?
Drop him, girl. He don't mean you no good. He ain't got no job.
I'd be like, where's your man?
Well,
right, exactly.
Where's he at?
You know what?
Let me talk to him and really see how you guys handle things.
For the parents, when they start, wait a minute now, let me stick up. What's your take on that, blessedsingles.com lady?
Well, I would say that, if it was one of my friends or my cousin, if I thought they were in jeopardy, I would step in.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I don't like it. Like Sparks was saying, people are always so eager to tell you what to do, what not to take, who to quit, when to quit them, and then they go about their merry way and do whatever it is they want. Okay, and so, but the thing of it is, a relationship is something that you really don't know what's going on unless you're in that relationship, and I don't really think it's anybody's. You really have the authority to tell somebody, who to be with and who not to be with. But we bring up a good point with, the physical abuse and the mental abuse that goes on in relationships that kind of escalate to really tragic outcomes.
Right.
There are people on the sidelines. If you know somebody that you feel is being abused, you do need to step in at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's about knowing when to step in and when to be respectful. A lot of people, when they're telling you about the bad parts of their relationship, they're just venting. They just want
someone
to be heard.
To listen.
Right.
Do kids have a lot to do with the decisions that the parents make, you think?
Definitely.
I know when I was growing up, my mom, she faced a little bit of hard times, and we would always try to inspire as much as I can. I know that was my motivation to get out and to do something great with my life when I seen her. And so tell us about what role do kids play in the marriages, and it's like, because some men don't want to be with females, and that, I like some men don't want to be with women who have kids. Do they have a right to have that choice, or I mean, what is the what are your
That's their own personal prerogative. You know, it really depends upon the genuosity of a person's heart.
Yeah.
If a man really loves a woman, or if he is genuinely interested in that woman, he is going to take on whatever it is that she has with him, whatever children she has, whatever problems, health issues, you know, family issues, whatever it may be. If he loves her, he's going to love them and embrace that just as she does.
Yeah.
And you know, going back onto the children. You know, from my own personal experience that I experienced, it definitely makes a difference because I stayed there within my situation for my son. But really, in all actuality, once I stepped out and looked back, I'm thinking to myself, this is not healthy for anyone. This is not healthy for my child to grow up even thinking that this is normal. And there's nothing that could possibly be positive for a child within an abusive situation. So it definitely does. And you know, it's not fair, but it's life. And going back to what you were saying before that, as far as unsolicited advice, I find that a lot of times the best advice comes from couples that, you know, pray together, that have been together, that have experienced hardships and are still together, or, you know, family members, uncles, aunts, pastors, parents. Whether they're still in relationships or not, those are the people to go to because they've lived life, they've experienced these things,
wisdom,
and they can give you wisdom instead of, oh, I don't think you should talk to that person, just because they might not even like them.
Shoot, man, I ran over my dad's house at like 4:00 in the morning one time when I was going through some stuff. I didn't know where to go, man. I'm like, this girl is driving me insane,
and I gotta talk to somebody.
I did. I ran over there. He answered his door.
Gotta talk to somebody.
He came out on the porch in the wee hours of the night, like. But I know what he wanted to say. He say, Brian, if you don't take your butt home,
go to bed.
Go to bed. People driving up the street going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, this is insanity. I need a break. I need a break.
Somebody rescue me.
You know what? I do want to chime in on one thing, and this is just my personal opinion about children and relationships. A lot of times people feel the need to hide disagreements from children, but I think I take exception to that, and that is that I think that if you hide all conflict from children, of course there's a time when, you know, you don't want them to be present when something really bad is happening, but I think it's important for kids to see disagreements and see how couples actually resolve it. As long as you're respectful, you guys have respect. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a good point.
Treat somebody with the same respect that you do when you're getting along. Why do people think, okay, now we're having a disagreement, now you're my mortal enemy?
No.
You know what?
No.
And how do we expect our children to grow up and have relationships and know how to conduct them themselves if they never see a disagreement resolved?
That is a really good point.
So Carla, now we're down to the last 4 minutes. Tell us what else do you got going on? I know you have the stress exercise. Tell us some things that people can get to know more. Because I mean, you seem to you hit some pretty good points, and you seem like you do a lot of studies, and you seem like you've got an honorable website where people can go to and mingle.
Yes.
So you're a specialist at this stuff. I don't know how much studying you do. I know you asked me a lot of questions. So tell us a little bit about how people can get into your circle. You got a Facebook page or anything?
We do for our different products. You know, I run a small web shop, and so we have different products. BlessedAngles.com is one of them. In the last year, as you know, Brian, I invented the mobile business card. It's called B Cards, and you can get it on at the App Store or on Google Play. And you can create a business card on your mobile phone. It looks just like the business card in your hand, only you can send it to anyone in the world with a smartphone.
That's awesome.
Go to bcards.com, check that out. We also have a website called stressorcise.com because, as we talked about today, people were all stressed out. We're holding all that stress in our body. We wonder why we're dieting. We can't lose weight. We wonder why we're working out. It never has any effect because we need to de-stress. Stress has a lot to do with our, the downfall of our health. And everything. And so we developed an exercise program called Stressorcise, and that's a trademark. And what we do is we have an exercise routine that you can do online or offline at local classes. And if you'd like to start a class in your area, get online and fill the form out and let us know. But these exercises, you'd be surprised. once you start doing these exercises, you get that stress out of your body. You don't even realize how tight your muscles are, or why you can't sleep, or why your stomach's in a knot. All this stuff going on. Why do we seek out these, high fatty foods? Because we're stressed out. So check that out at stressorsize.com.
Well,
and then
Go ahead with the last one real fast.
I'm sorry. The last one I was going to tell you is we have homeinventory.com that we're promoting, and that's where you can create a list of all the valuable items in your home and send it to your insurance company.
Awesome. I want to. Oh, go ahead, Carla. Just real quick.
Oh, go ahead. No,
I want to thank you for doing the show.
Thank you for coming on.
You did an excellent job. You knocked it out the park. And you're tuned to the media. Everybody have an excellent week. Thank you so much, Carla.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Listening to News Talk 790 WPIC. Sharon Hermitage, a Cumulus station, sponsored by the Ridgewood at Shenango Valley, a premier senior living residence.